It's 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33. Welcome, everybody, to Mixing It Up. Today is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day out there to everybody in Wayne County and all over the land that's watching this show. We're broadcast to you live on TV 33. We come to you live on Comcast 20. We also are online at TV33live.com. And you know what? We want your calls. We want your opinions. We want your statements. We want your thoughts. We encourage you to please call us at 313-868-0342. The numbers will periodically flash across the screen, but I just want you to let you know I appreciate your calls. I need to know you're out there watching, and don't be reluctant to call. 868-0351, 868-4336, and this station has something new. You can watch us live on Facebook. If you go to the new TV 33 WHPR on Facebook and hit like, now you're a member, right? Then you go to welcome, the word welcome. You now can watch this show live. You can punch your name in up top in a search bar and now watch the show live on your page while everybody's talking. You can interact with your friends. I want to let you all know out there tonight that we have a great show for you. My first guest is in the greeting card business in a spiritual vein. She's a comedian. She wears many, many hats. We are going to be proud to present to you in a few minutes Miss Joy Scott, and we appreciate her coming here at the last minute. And we also have a very important guest. We have the president of the school board, DPS in Detroit, Mr. Lamar Lemons. We're very proud to have him here tonight. He came here as a favor at the last minute, and I'm honored to have him, and I am so humble that this man was willing to come here to my little show and come here and talk about what's going on and the lack of what's going on in, with the community in the city of Detroit and our school board and the emergency manager and all these issues that we're facing within our school system, the closing of schools. We're going to talk about it all and what we can do and what you can do to get involved and make a difference, because you know what? Time is running out in Detroit. We're being sold out. I personally believe that. There's a reason for all this activity that's not happening. You know, in the paper the other day, they published the assets that are available for sale, like the tunnel, Belle Isle, and several, and privatizing the consumer power, DTE. Could you imagine if all this is taken over? It's all over Detroit. We could now become part of Livonia, Oak Park, Royal Oak. Detroit could cease to exist. It is the way we know it. We would no longer be called Detroit. And you know, Detroit is, contrary to popular opinion, the capital of Michigan. Detroit goes, it's all over for the whole state. We were the capital. The Industrial Revolution was born in Detroit. We invented the assembly line here. We are an industrial state that has lost its industry. There's areas in Detroit where there's 75% unemployment. So we're going to talk about all these issues. And also, at 10 o'clock, we have the Detroit Better Youth Movement. They take over my show at 10 o'clock, and hopefully we will hear from them later on. And first I'm going to talk about something that I have, not to beat a dead horse, but the little baby girl, Ivory Ivy, that died in October of last year, when they sent out a TAC unit instead of a conventional fire engine with no water, no hose, and no ladder, and the baby died from smoke inhalation. Minister Shabazz and I, Robert Robinson from It Takes a Village, we have formulated a foundation for all children up to the age of 18 that die in this city from a fire and whose families can't afford to bury them. You know, we have a new issue now. It's one thing that someone dies. Now we can't afford to bury our children. That's unacceptable to me. the Ivory Ivy Emergency Children's Foundation. It's at any Comerica bank. And you know what? Ain't nobody stepping up. I just heard last week of another child that died from a fire, and they had to raise money. This is sad to me. I'm encouraging you to get involved, make a stance. We released this story the day before Christmas. The writer, the journalist from the paper, he didn't give it the feel that it needed. This is supposed to be the most giving, loving, sharing time of the year, Christmas, and nobody stepped up. And the article just was glazed over. It was the second page of the Detroit News on Saturday. Didn't have any feel for it, didn't have any human interest. How much more sad does it have to be? How much more ridiculous? A house is on fire, and a child dies because there's no ladder to save the child? I'm sorry. That was it for me. That's a real slap in the face to us that this kind of behavior is going in our city. This is just indicative and characteristic of the level and the lack of concern that's going on. EMS, fire department, the police, we're broke. We can't get services. We can't chop down trees, lighting, all these issues. They're going to be talked about on my show, Minister Shabazz's show, on a continuum. So that's unacceptable. The Ivory Ivy Emergency Children's Fund. Send $1. Go to Comerica Bank, put in 50 cents, put in something. Show you care. Without our involvement, we're nothing. We're nothing. Without all of us getting together, we don't exist. We just had a very generous donation. Should I announce the donor? We'll talk about this in a while. So that's it for now. I just want to encourage you to join the show's Facebook page. The name of the show is Mixing It Up, right? Mixing It Up with Barry Ross on demand. You go in my Facebook page, you can watch all the prior shows. We are archived. I have about 16 shows that are on this page now. We installed a video player. So it is the Mixing It Up with Barry Ross, B-A-R-R-Y, on Facebook. It's on demand. So you go in there and you hit like, you're joining, right? You're a member. Now you hit on demand and you're in. We have two ways. You can watch my show, the archives. You can also go and watch this show live on the new TV 33 WHPR. Right now, go to it. And we're going to start to have somebody that's going to man a Facebook page and we can interact with you. So that's all the announcements tonight. I appreciate the fact that you allow me to come into your home, and without you, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. You make me a better person. Me being able to come into your home and make a difference. We want to bring to you programs that can help you, help your families, and offer services that you don't even know exist. So without any further delay, I want to introduce to you all my first guest, Joyce Scott.
God bless you.
Thank you. Who's no stranger to the media.
Not at all, not at all.
And you were telling me earlier, you have a great voice, by the way.
Thank you. God bless.
And you're much more attractive looking at you under the light. You know, I don't see well. I'm 60 years old.
Oh, well, you ain't got nothing on me, baby. I'm 70.
Wow.
So I got you by 10.
70.
70 years old.
All right. Okay. If you were 10 years older, I would date you.
Well,
I don't date
if you were 10 years younger, I would date you. I'm a cougar, but I'm a Christian cougar. I look, but I don't touch.
Oh, all right. Well, that's about what goes on with me these
Amen.
days. That's about all I can do. She's a comedian.
Yes,
she's in the greeting card business.
Not greeting cards.
I'm sorry. Correct me.
Okay, these are career psalms. Okay, the cards are the kind that you can take to help you boost your career. I was given this that I believe that the psalms are used to help inspire and to keep you going and as a blessing to you. So I was giving my daughter a Psalms. I was giving my daughter a Psalms because she was a teacher, and I wanted her to have it. And when I sat there, I got all the rest of these 156 different careers with a Psalms individual for each one. It's if you're worried about a job, I know that if God comes into it, you got it. If the word of God comes in, you've got it. And I've got one here it's from attorney. Blessed is the man whom thou choosest and cause to approach unto thee, that he may dwell in thy You see, that's the Psalms for him. And then the beautician. And let the beauty of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish thou the work of his hands upon us. Yea, the work of our hands, establish thou it. You see, it's encouragement for your career. Everybody that wants a career, everybody that has a career, this is for you. Carry it in your pocket. I have the desk side. There are desk sides where you can put them in a little thing to set it on your desk. And I'm telling you, I want the people to know that I have these cards in order to give encouragement to the soldiers that are fighting.
Inspirational cards.
Inspirational cards.
May I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
But number one, let's just talk about it.
Okay.
These are gorgeous.
Thank you.
The little. How much is this card? How much is the
It's
stand?
$1.99
With the stand?
No, with the stand it's $3.99.
All right, so you sell the stand and the card.
Yes.
Okay, and are these available anywhere for the public?
Yes, they are. You can go to careerpsalms.com, careerpsalms.com on the internet, and you can purchase them right from there. And you can just go down the list and check what you want.
Shipping?
Shipping I do, and it's all included.
Really?
In the cost,
and,
yes.
And give them, we're going to go on with the interview, but give them your phone number, contact. Let's tell them again where they can get these.
Well, I prefer that you just go to the Career Psalms. I have contact numbers there. I don't try to give out my phone number because I get crazies that call.
I don't blame you.
So, but if you go to
I'm about to do that myself.
If you go to careerpsalms.com, you will be able to purchase any card that you would like.
CAREERPSALMS.
Right, just like the Psalms in the Bible.
That's right. Okay, now how long have you been doing this?
Goodness, at least 6 years.
Okay, and you created these yourself?
No,
correct?
God created them, and
my God.
He just used me to manifest it.
Okay,
I'm serious.
No.
I don't do anything without, or try to do anything without God's direction and inspiration. And the way He gave it to me, I did all of these 156 cards in less than 2 hours. So it had to be God because I ain't that smart.
I don't know if they heard this. She has 156
different ones.
Is that cover all the Psalms?
No,
now these are Psalms in all areas of the Testament, correct?
Yes, right. It's just in the book of Psalms, and it's come from every chapter, and it was applied to every career, and every Psalm is different for every career. You don't have any of them that are the same.
I want everyone to know we want to see these in all the big churches that have stores. You
and
I were talking.
Yes.
A lot of these big churches have gift shops.
Oh, please.
And your prices are beyond reasonable. So
Yes.
anybody can afford these. You have one for every occasion.
Amen.
And you have, we showed it earlier. We had the poster. Can we just hold that poster up, Steve? Could you? Yeah, here it is. Here it is. This is just a better idea of some of these little cards I'm holding.
Yeah.
And they're vast.
Yeah.
She has it on every subject imaginable.
Yes. Every career that I could think of that God gave me, it happened. Now, there's not going to be something for everybody, but I do have a card for everyone, and it's classified for everyone. I have one for the choir director. It says, lift up your hands in the sanctuary and bless the Lord. That's Psalms 134:2. So you've got all of these Psalms here for inspiration, for divine protection, the whole 9 yards.
Let's take a call.
Okay.
Do you mind?
No, not at all.
I bet you they want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Good evening. You're on Mixing It Up with Joy Scott. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.
The question I have.
Yes? We lost
The
you.
question I have is, what church could I find those cards at?
You're working on this, correct?
Right. This is what I'm here doing now. I'm in the process of getting them out to the various churches. Right now, the only place that you can get it is at True Oracles of God Ministries, and that's on State Fair.
1500 East State Fair. This
right.
is on State Fair, 7.5 mile east of 75 to
State
DeQuinton.
Fair?
Right.
Yeah, East State Fair, 1500 East State Fair. Maybe we can give her an.
I know exactly where that's at. Okay.
And do you have access to a computer? Because if
Yes.
you go online, you can buy it off the line.
Okay, I have to careersongs.com. I
Right.
have that.
That's all it takes.
And miss, ma'am, you have to see these to believe them because this camera's not doing them justice. I have to tell you, she has every area of careers covered. Thank you very much for your call. You got that, careerpsalms.com?
I even have one for prisoners, Barry. And now people say, oh, being
I
a prisoner is
appreciate
not
your
a
help.
career.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, let's take a
Okay.
couple calls, and I don't mean to interrupt you.
Okay.
Hi, you're on the air with Joyce Scott. How are you on Mixing It Up?
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm okay.
Could you speak up a little bit, sir?
Yeah, I've been using the 23rd when I go to court for the last 10 or 12 years. It's always worked for me. You
You're
have
not
that
coming in
one?
clear, sir.
Yeah, you're going to court on the 23rd? Is that what you said?
No, I use the 23rd Psalms when I go to court. I've been using it about 10 years now.
When you go to court?
Yeah, it works every time.
Okay.
All you have to do is go on the line at Career Psalms and pick you up a card and take it with you, put it in your pocket, and I
Yeah, that's what I
guarantee you
do.
it's
I carry it in my
it'll be a
wallet.
blessing to you.
Yeah, I keep it in my wallet all the time.
She has more Psalms for you if you're
Do
interested.
you have 23rd?
No, I don't have the 23rd. Every career has its own Psalms.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your call. Good evening. You're on Mixing It Up. And hello, how are you?
Oh, just wonderful. God bless you and your guests.
Thank you very much, and to you and your family, and happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, thank you. Happy Black Day. I just want to let you know that the reason that children die mostly in fires is because they go and hide, because they're afraid of the fire, they're afraid of the smoke. Please, everyone in the listening audience, tell your children not to run and hide in the closet, under the bed, where firefighters cannot find them. Please get that word out. Tell children not to hide. God bless you and keep you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for your input. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's a much needed instruction.
No
right.
question. I'm sorry. And getting back to you were talking about
Okay.
prisoners, excuse me.
Well, let me tell you. There's somebody said that I have a card for prisoners, and they said, well, being a prisoner isn't a career. They have career criminals, and they're in jail for their life. And so I gave them one. It says, "For he satisfieth the longing soul, and filleth the hungry soul with goodness, such as sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron." That's Psalms 107, 9 through 10. It's an encouragement to let them know that God is with you wherever you are.
And I just want to say you don't have to be in prison behind bars to be in prison.
Amen.
And I want to read that again because
Yeah.
I have been in prison for many, many years
Oh, yes,
myself.
we all have.
I just want to read this again. "For he has satisfieth the longing soul, and filleth the hungry soul with goodness, such as sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron." Psalms 107, 9, and 10.
right.
And I don't mean to get into a long thing about myself, but you don't have to be a particular race to be in prison. You don't have to be a particular sex. It's all up here too.
Right.
We don't know we're free until we set ourselves free. I've
Amen.
heard of men and women in prison that feel more free than people outside
Oh yes,
of bars.
yes. And that's true. It's all about a mind thing, and that's also what I teach. I've written a book called Transforming Spiritual Awareness, and I teach the book about how to use the transforming part of you, your mind, to change who you are and how you are, and to react according to godliness, holiness, and not to be caught up with the things in this world that
Material
have no
things,
meaning.
what have
That's
you.
right. That's right. Have no meaning.
We are not our car. We are not our homes. We are not our job. We are loved. We are not
We're
our
not
loved
our
ones.
education.
We're so caught up into the things that we think are going to make us feel whole. I sought my whole life for everything outside of myself
Yes.
to make me feel whole, and all I was filling an empty hole.
That's it.
And how do you fill an empty hole?
You can't except with God.
God, you got
with
it.
God.
All right.
With God, that's the only way you can fill the voids in your life. It took me a while to learn that, but once I did, I haven't looked back, and thank God for that. It's a blessing. And I want to tell you this. Do you realize that when I got this business together, I was in a homeless shelter in Atlanta,
Oh, my
Georgia.
God.
I was there as a homeless person. That's how I got the name Mother Wit, because God gave me the concept of Mother Wit in a homeless shelter, and I started the business. My business is called G&M Creations. It stands for God and Me Creation.
Give them the name of your website again.
All right, it's careerpsalms.com.
Is there an email, or it's within that
My
site?
personal email is all that I have.
Would you like to give it out?
Yes. It's joy.motherwit.scott5 at gmail.com.
Say that again slowly.
Hey, listen.
Because people listening, unless you have a pen sitting right near your TV,
Okay.
we don't get
It's
this.
joy.motherwit.scott5 at gmail.com. I'm looking to hear from you. You can book me for, matter of fact, I'll be doing some comedy at the People's Church of Holiness on March the 2nd at 7 o'clock p.m. on Myers Road. I hope that they all come out and support me in my comedy show. And I'm just looking forward to doing great things in Detroit. I believe Detroit is not in its death throes, but I believe that it is trying to make that comeback. And it's up to us to resurrect this city. This whole thing that I'm doing is not about money for me. It's about money to be able to supply, like for the young people, the young ladies there, is to set up funding for the people that don't have the money. This city is
Like when you were homeless.
right when I was homeless.
Listen,
and
I
that's
just
what this is all about.
I just want to say it's okay to come here and try to make a living too. No one would begrudge you. You have to eat.
Yeah.
You have bills. This is okay. If you want to give some of this, what have you? I mean, I have a show. I need sponsorship for my show. I'm all about giving out.
Well, see, that's
but this
what
is
happens.
still a business. The
Yeah.
TV shows are still a business. It's
Right.
reality.
Right.
It's okay. It doesn't make you a greedy, hungry person. You're a good person. You're
Yeah.
a giving person. I just wanted to ask you. You mentioned you had performed with George Wallace.
Yes, I used to
Everybody
open
know
up for
George
him.
Wallace, a
Yeah.
comedian,
And Sinbad.
and Sinbad.
Yeah, I used to. I opened up for him at the casinos down in Mississippi, and I only opened up for the comedians that didn't curse and use bad language. So I had a good time doing that, and then I brought it into the churches because I believe firmly that laughter is a great medicine.
Oh, no question.
It's a healing factor that we really need to get to because our lives have become sad. We're caught up in so much ugliness from the news media and from all that's happening to us, and we need to be able to laugh, to find humor, to find joy in our lives.
We better laugh. And if you can't learn to laugh at yourself, you might not be able to laugh at yourself that moment when things are going rough for you. But sooner or later, man, if I could tell you the stories about some of the things I've done and where I've been in this life, and I've learned to laugh at myself. But like I said,
Listen.
it's easier said than done.
Well, the scripture tells you the joy of the Lord is your strength. If you're going through something, you better find some joy so you can get through, be strong in it. Because if you don't, you're not going to make it.
That's why your mama named you Joy, isn't it?
I don't know why she did that.
You could say yes. It's okay. All right. We have a couple more minutes. I want
Okay.
you to give all your contact information, your email, where you're going to be again,
Okay.
where they can buy this, some of the prices.
Okay.
All right.
All of the cards are $1.99. All of the little holders are $1.99. You can get them on at the careerpsalms.com website. All you have to do is click and use your card. I have PayPal, and it's covered. So you go ahead and do this and support the because this is supporting a ministry. My ministry is raising money for other ministries, and that's what this is about.
And you have the website again,
careerpsalms.com.
and the email again, that long one.
joy.motherwit.scott5 at gmail.com.
When are you performing it? You're performing at a church?
Yes, March the 2nd, I'll be on Myers. It's 15105 Myers Road, and it's at the People's Church of Holiness.
Must be near grand River. Close.
Yes.
Close to Grand River or
Yes.
Linden, somewhere.
And that's at 7 o'clock p.m.
Okay. And I'm going to come out. What day of the week is it?
Friday night.
At 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
I want to do my best to come out
Come
there.
on, come on now. You'll enjoy it.
What? And you won't believe some of the places I go anyway. So if I tell you I'm going to try to come out there, I'm going to try to. What else is going to be going on that night? What kind of?
I have no idea. I just worry about me.
Okay. And will you have your cards there?
Oh, yeah. I have cards there. I'll have books there. I will have a couple of the other things that I have to do. I have mouse pads that I make and stuff.
Wow.
So I'll have all that there.
If you're a church, if you have a gift shop in a hospital,
Yes.
if you have a gift shop in a church, if you have a gift shop anywhere, if you got an African store downtown Detroit, in anywhere at all, you contact this lady.
Yes.
You can call me at 24. I hate seeing how fat I got sitting.
Oh, don't- please don't mention fat in front of me.
248-417-9696. You can call me because I can always answer my phone, and I'll get you some cards
Yeah.
from this beautiful lady.
Okay.
Okay?
Listen, let me
She's
just
nothing
say
but
one
a
other
baby.
thing. Please think of it as also a fundraiser for. I have a fundraiser that you can use the cards as a fundraiser for your church or your youth organization, even for all the Barbers Association, the Doctors Association. All of these people can use this as a fundraiser.
All right, Joy. I can't thank you enough for coming.
Well, I can't thank you. God bless you.
All they had to do was
Yes.
ask me, and I loved you. As soon as I saw you, I said, "She
God
ain't nothing but
bless
about
you.
45. She ain't no 70."
Oh, get out of here! You lie to me. I love it.
All right. We're going to be right back. Stick here for a second.
Okay.
We'll be right back with the president of our school board, Mr. Lamar Lemons. We'll be right back. Right.
Hi, Mom. Where'd you get all this Narcotics Anonymous stuff from?
Mrs. Owens had Narcotics Anonymous come and talk to our class about meetings that can help people stop using drugs.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Yes, please. Can you help me?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
We are the faces of Detroit. We are the faces of Delray.
We are the faces of Delray. Governor Snyder wants to put us out of our homes by building a bridge in our front yard.
Homes where we raised our families.
A community where we buried our loved one.
Delray is struggling, but it's not lifeless. It's a community of hopes and dreams.
Governor Snyder.
Invest.
Not destroy.
1,000 men's suits. And right now at Sermons, you can buy one and get two free. Not one suit, but two free. Buy one suit, bring two friends. Buy one suit, bring two relatives. Buy one suit, get two free. Bring your pastor, your boss, your teacher. Buy one suit and get two free. Sermons with 90 years of experience, carrying jeans, exotic skin shoes, sets, shirts, leathers, sweaters, everything for the well-dressed man. Buy one suit, get two free. Sermons on Randolph in downtown Detroit.
The Brinker Group has been serving clients throughout Metro Detroit since 1989. Our group is comprised of 5 commercial contracting firms that specialize in construction management, general contracting, architectural interiors, flooring, glass and aluminum applications, and electrical installation. For exceptional service at competitive rates, choose the Brinker Group. We build with quality, confidence, and pride.
Hey, come on. Man, what is taking so long? Let's play.
Just getting a number.
Whose number?
Narcotics Anonymous.
Hey, if you need to talk.
No way, it's not for me, it's for my brother. He's constantly wasted. Come on, hoop time. Can you tell me about NA?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
You're watching Power Talk on your community TV station, UHF TV 33, Detroit, Highland Park.
The following program does not reflect the views and opinions of Channel 33, its management, or sponsors.
We can help you.
You're watching Power Talk on your community TV UHF TV 33, Detroit, Highland Park.
Tuesday. Good evening. We're back live on Mixing It Up. You're watching us on TV 33, Comcast 20 in Detroit, most of Wayne County, online, TV33live.com. And again, we encourage you to get involved in the show's Facebook page, the new TV 33 WHPR. You go in, you hit like. Now you're a member, right? Once you hit the word like, and then you go to the left side of the page and you hit welcome, and you can watch this show live on Facebook. Type your name into the search bar, and now it can be on your page while you can interact with your friends. And we encourage you to call us tonight because I have the president of the Detroit School Board, which is beyond amazing to me, and whom you're going to want to call. 868-0342. These are all 868 numbers, 0342, 0351, and 4336. And I don't want to take any more time talking. I want to certainly bring this gentleman on, and I'm very privileged to have him here today at the last minute for me to get him on the phone. He did a favor. We were virtually unknown to one another. I appreciate you coming here. Thank you very much for showing up today, Lamar Lemons.
Thank you very much for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. What are we going to do here in Detroit? What's happening on the school board? And we're tied up with the emergency manager within the school system. Are we powerless?
We are without legal authority, but we have only the people power and the power of God, but we have no legal authority in our positions of board members.
Now, what does this mean exactly? We have no legal authority.
That means normally the board sets the policy for the Detroit Board of Education and for the Detroit Public Schools. But we have an emergency manager who has assumed all authority of the board.
Now, is it true that it's there's sort of sanctions on meeting, on you guys meeting as a board?
Well, he won't give he being the emergency manager, has not allowed us to the freedom that we would like in terms of the providing the necessary resources for us to meet in a normal fashion. Nevertheless, we go undaunted. We're going to be meeting, in fact, on the 23rd at Sacred Heart at 6 o'clock, and that's at 3451 Rivard, right in Mac. And
near 75 in Mac.
Near 75.
Right behind the McDonald's and the church.
Right behind the McDonald's.
At 7 o'clock?
At 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock. What's the date of that again?
And that's the 23rd of February.
Now, is this open to the public?
It is open to the public. In fact, it's a call to the public to bring them out so we can find out what's going on in the Detroit Public Schools.
Give me the date of that again.
That is February 23rd.
Okay. At 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock.
Okay.
The address is 3451 Rivard at Mac.
Now, it's to my understanding that you have a rough time with communicating with one another. Phones? Do you all have phones?
Well, he has been select in not allowing the new board members to have the same access to the phones and the other resources, and it seems to be without any provocation. And so we still don't know why that is. We're waiting for his grace to allow us to have
his grace. Do you have access to computers in an area?
Okay, again, select members do and select members do not. The members who are just arrived do not have that access. And so we are much saddened by that state of affairs.
Is he meeting with you all as a group or like individually, maybe a couple at a time?
He meets with us with 5 members or less at a time, so it doesn't break the Open Meetings Act.
And what is the Open Meetings Act?
It requires that any deliberations or any gathering to discuss any issues for the public be made before the public. And that's, in fact, if you recall, Mr. Robert Davis just sued and won based on the Open Meetings Act for the emergency manager, proposed emergency manager for the city of Detroit.
Is he? Do you think, in your opinion, we don't want to But do you think he acts under the decree and orders of the governor, or is he completely autonomous to do what he? I know he has the jurisdiction to do whatever he wants, but are all these decisions, in the board's opinion, made directly from him?
Well, ultimately, he's the agent of the governor, so
who knows?
Exactly. I would imagine, and this is just pure speculation, that he has some flexibility, but ultimately the governor can remove him at any time.
And if he wanted to, I'm just asking, he has the right to shut down every school in the city of Detroit, if he wanted to?
Oh, certainly does.
Every school?
Every school. He can, in fact, he's selling schools. He's closing schools. He's charting schools.
15 more, I hear?
15 more schools will go into a new school system that he's proposing. 4 schools that are doing quite fine are going to be chartered for no reason, including one in Rosedale Park. And that community called me today. And again, what we're doing, we're going to document everything that's going on so that we can make our case. Ultimately, this will be decided in the court of law.
A case, where would this go?
Well,
Supreme Court?
Probably the state Supreme Court or the federal courts.
Okay. How was he overall? How was his demeanor with the board in terms of respect and civility when he does talk to you, gentlemen, and the women and ladies within the board? How is he? What's his disposition? Is he civil and nice to you, treating you with respect, talking down to you?
Well, he makes it quite clear that he has all the authority, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, all right. We don't want to put him out on Front Street. He is a man, and he's in this position. As a community, Wayne County, Detroit, anybody that's listening, what can we all do? What would you like to see done by the community to aid the furtherance of a board that's productive where we can help these children?
Well, if they come out on the 23rd, we're going to outline a series of tasks that we need the community to help us with. We're also going to need to help to raise some money to hire an attorney so that we can sue the state, because the state owes the district somewhere around $1 billion.
Is that all school money? Now we've been hearing this, but that's all I thought it initially was tax money.
Right.
We were taxed.
Right.
But is a vast portion of that money education money?
It's exactly what happened is the state put the district in a reform effort, and from 1999 to 2006. And during that period, we had about almost a $400 million swing. We had David Adamanti left us with a $125 million surplus. And when they returned the district to the elected board, it had a $250 million deficit. And that's illegal. They were, and so we never, unfortunately, the previous board did not sue, because it is an uphill battle. You have to sue, and you'll be combating the state's attorney general. Nevertheless, I have no doubt that we'll prevail. I talked to an attorney just last week, and he said a grave injustice has occurred.
It's awfully ironic. And now I'm not asking you to answer this. I will state this. It's my show. It seems like the emergency manager, the finance manager, whether it be in a city or in a board, is in predominantly all African-American communities. Now, you do the math. You ask yourself what's going on here. This isn't happening in West Bloomfield and Birmingham that has problems. This isn't happening in the state of Michigan where a lot of these problems are coming from. This is happening in, Muskegon, Benton Harbor, Detroit, what other cities?
Flint,
Pontiac,
Highland Park.
Black areas, everybody. Inkster, these are over 75% African-American communities. What's the deal here? Now, is Detroit interested in meeting with these other, I went up we marched on the governor's house. We didn't get too close, but there were cities from all over, trying to prevent the squash in Detroit in itself for the emergency manager. Are you working outside of Detroit with these other cities?
Yes, it is to mobilize the entire state and community for the purposes of fighting together and
resourcing monies, what have you.
Exactly. And one of the reasons we need attorney is because we want to have an file an amicus brief to
Excuse me, what was that word?
Amicus or amicus brief.
What does that mean?
It means a friend of. That in essence is a Me Too to an existing law case. And there is a case against Public Act 4 filed by the Sugar Law Center. And we would like to file an amicus brief with that lawsuit.
Is that the one that's for the city of Detroit, that they for the undemocratic decree?
Actually, it's for all those communities that you mentioned. It's a direct attack on Public Act 4, which takes away democracy. It takes away
the right to choose.
Exactly, and more importantly, it allows them to violate contracts.
Oh, no question.
And so we know that's going to be found unconstitutional ultimately. But what we find is that they do a game of cat and mouse. They keep moving the goalposts. So even when we were victorious last year, they changed the law. And there's even discussion now that they will change the law
every time.
Exactly.
Not to put words in your mouth. What was the victory last year you're referring to?
We sued about the Detroit board under the old Public Act 72 having the right to have academic control. And we prevailed in court after 2 years where we didn't have academic control, and they changed the law immediately.
Let me ask you this now. I own a business downtown Detroit. We've talked about it. A couple of my young men that were under 16 that were going to various high schools told me a couple of years ago that a lot of times in high school, they had to share books. When I heard this, I flipped out. And then I found out that there were all the books that all these students needed that were not being allocated, that were in a warehouse that I think even had a fire, and destroyed books that could have been used, that should have been used, that weren't, and kids were sharing. And there's nothing worse than if you have to do homework, maybe having to ask someone, it's hard for adults to ask for help, let alone children. So this is true?
This is true. And you should know that the state has had control over the district for 10 of the last 13 years.
That's right.
And so if we have failing schools, it falls squarely at their feet.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, in 1999, Detroit, before the takeover, we scored in the middle of the state. There were as many school districts below us as there were ahead of us, and we had a surplus, as I said, of 93 million, and then Adamantly left with 125 million, and so there was no academic reason or financial reason for them to take over our schools. And so they took it over and said we had a high dropout rate because at the time people were dropping out and going to work in the factories or some other place, and that had been the trend. So they used that as a rationale because we also had $1.5 billion with a B in bond authority in building and constructing in Detroit for a construction bond. And what happened is that some of the major vendors didn't like the fact that in Detroit they would have to have minority partners in that. So they complained to John Engler, and they came up with this ruse of legislation called a Public Act 10 of 1999. And then they left the district, which is a direct violation of Headley. And so
Headley is
a part of the state of Michigan Constitution, which says, and this particular provision says you can't have unfunded mandates. The state can't impose something on the locals that they don't pay for. So you can't, in other words, they're not have access to our local tax dollars that we vote upon ourselves.
We're going to take a call in a second, but I just want to tell you something. Growing up, the way I grew up, if anybody would have treated me the way that this system is treating this city, they'd have been in deep trouble. This is a total insult to everyone that lives in this city, the way that they're treating you. Yeah. And if you don't get on board and recognize that they're calling everybody here stupid, because everybody's falling for this and people aren't getting on board. Let's take a quick call. Hi, you're on the air with Lamar Lemons, President
good. I am very disturbed at what I'm hearing right now.
Good.
It sounds to me like they're breaking all of the rules to fulfill their agenda, and it's like we're at war. And will the courts, go on the side of righteousness, or will the courts go on the side of wickedness? And if so, what are we as a people supposed to do? I mean, really.
Do you care to answer that?
Certainly. I think that there are two things. First of all, in the courts, we don't know how they'll finally come down. But remember, it will set legal precedent, and therefore we'll all be drinking of the Kool-Aid. That means this will apply to those communities outside, and not like the ones we just described. So that's what they're worried about, because we can demand that it's applied across the board.
Sir, are you watching your TV?
Yeah, I have it on mute right now.
Do you see me?
Yes, I do.
What race am I?
You're European, Caucasian.
That's correct. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not putting the president on board. As far as I'm concerned, this is a flat-out discriminatory decree to take everybody black out of advancing. And as far as I'm concerned, this has taken everybody back 100 years. Now, I'm not advocating violence, but what I'm asking you and everybody you know to get on board, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to block the expressway from here all the way to Lansing and get out of my car and stand there till this governor starts recognizing that we all need to get on board, and we're not taking this anymore. We cannot take this anymore. There's not too many more privileges, organizations, businesses, and privileges that they can take away anymore. This has to stop. I got something to read. Yeah, go on.
How can we, those billions of dollars that Mr. Lemons was just talking about, that is owed to the city of Detroit. That money can be used for the people to help us create our own manufacturing companies, our own cars, and anything else that our own farms, help our black farmers and everything, and enrich our educational system. I mean, this money could be used.
Well, you know what, the
And
first
how do we
thing
get that money?
the first thing that needs to be done with that is to prevent the governor from taking over with an emergency manager, because he's trying to fill this deficit here, the budget.
Right.
So if we can clear that up and get the governor off the back, we could do whatever we want to do. That's number one. That seems to be the number one priority that our mayor is trying to hook up by cutting all these, the city's trying to cut 10% from the employees, the UAW's trying to cut. We got to get this governor off our back, and then we could try to grow. The governor's number one priority here, get this turkey off all our backs in the city of Detroit, and let's all join together. Listen, you can join me, the Detroit Coalition Against Violence, Minister Malik Shabazz, the New Marcus Garvey movement. We got plans to do a non-violent stance against this governor this year if we have to. If he decrees this, there's going to be a problem here.
Yes, it is.
I'm the first one to say it. This governor better not do this in Detroit.
Can we somehow I like what on the previous show, someone was talking about putting pressure on the emergency financial manager and, making him feel uncomfortable and kind of scared or whatnot. But maybe, and then they might have to fire him and bring somebody else. But any emergency financial manager that tries to come into the city of Detroit or the public school system should be afraid to do anything crazy.
You got it.
They shouldn't even want the job.
That's right. He better be smart, and he better take his time and try to work with people. The problem is these guys are getting on a power trip for one reason or another, and they love this control. They get off on this control, and, it's like everybody is meaningless. I have a friend here that said she never felt so low than when she left the last board meeting by the way he was talking to everybody, like they're not even human. We can't take this. This is unacceptable. Listen, I appreciate your call.
All right. Y'all take care. God bless. We in this together.
Thank you very much for your call.
Thank you.
Going forward, we announced this, but I'm going to announce it again. February 23rd, this month, 6 o'clock at Sacred Heart back in 75, Sacred Heart Church, 3451 Rivard, major town hall meeting. Y'all better come to this. Find out the real deal and find out how you can get on board. I hear that Brandon Jessup just got, was it 400,000 signatures?
That's what I'm told.
Okay.
And we're turning them in, I think, on the 29th.
Okay. And you know, of course, let's be positive, but they'll throw another wrench into this. This guy's manufacturing tools in his basement. They say they got a wrench they got a nut for every a bolt you have. Again, February 23rd, this month. Find out what's happening in the school board. The school board is for our children that one day are going to be taking care of us.
That's right.
I don't want uneducated children being on top in positions where they're not qualified to take care of me. Do you? Do you? Let's get some good kids, and we got to make these kids. We got to make these kids into good kids. We got to show them love.
That's right.
And you know another issue we have? Walking on the, it's one thing, they're closing the schools, but walking by trash, walking by glass, walking by toilet seats in the middle of the street, walking by abandoned houses, condoms, syringes. How can we, let me ask you a question. If you were 9, 10 years old and you saw trash bigger than King Kong on the way to school, how, or if you didn't eat that morning because your mom didn't have breakfast, or your dad was abusive to your mother, if you're lucky enough to have 2 parents in the home, and now you go to school and you got to share books, and they're cutting the lunch program, and or you're coming out of school and gangs are standing there because the police don't protect you. My God! So there's the last census said, which I know is not true, a little over 700,000. Well, we all know a lot of people don't respond to them census takers, bill collectors. I know when sermon clothes call and you're late on your layaway, you're going, who this, what you want, what you want? Okay? So I know when a census taker's coming to your door, what you want? There's a white guy at my door. Don't answer the door, baby. He ain't want nothing. Okay? So the census is not accurate. So let's say there's about 850,000 living in Detroit. We used to, okay, I think there's less than 1 million. For argument's sake, there's 950,000, whatever. We used to have 2 million. So if more keep moving because of violence, the schools, hey man, it's going to be over. We're going to be white Livonia with black people living in Detroit, and you know the people in Livonia don't like you anyway. It's just how it is. Now you think you got problems now. Try shopping in Livonia. You know how when you drive into Dearborn, what's the first? Uh-oh, here comes some black guys driving to Livonia from Dearborn. I know it. I hear it all the time. Profile, here come the police, driving to Oak Park. You got your hat sideways, and you got Jay-Z on the radio. Put him over right there. So we don't want to see this happen. You need to get involved. Mr. Lemons, we got a couple minutes. I know I'm ranting a little bit, but this bothers me. What else can we do? They're going to come to the meeting. You know, Sister Aquila's here. I offered her the ability to have a facility for meetings. And I think someone else, you have one too. A new one over there in States. We're saving yours for big stuff. Okay. Okay. We should get all these other cities that have been taken over to have a big meeting here soon.
Right.
Muskegon?
That's going to be part of the focus of the
town hall.
Of the town hall.
Okay. Because I will get you, if that meeting, Sister Aquila, is for later on, I'll get that place for the big one.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Muskegon. What everything. Oh, by the way, they want to now sell Belle Isle. They want to sell Belle Isle, the tunnel, Cobo, everything.
The water.
All right, you're all going to be coming to my house for a barbecue, and you all can't fit in my little condo. Closing remarks.
Yes, we need everyone who has any interaction with the Detroit Public Schools to come to this town hall meeting because we need to find out what's going on in the schools. We need to find out how many children are actually in the classroom. What is the physical state of the school buildings? What are the safety issues? All issues. How are the children and the parents being treated? Are they being respected? We hall meeting, we're going to address all these issues, and we're going to set up a task force to deal with it.
Okay, wonderful. I can't tell you enough, and I thank Minister Shabazz for asking you, on my behalf to come here, and I hope that I did you proud a little bit. And earlier him and I, Mr. Lemons, were talking about, we both love boxing, and we had a great conversation. But meanwhile, this is way more important than boxing. And welcome aboard to our city, and we hope that we can sustain a board that allows freedom to do what it needs to do for our children in the future. Right. And anybody that's on the board, I met they're all devoted. This ain't like when I went to school, they're just punching in a job. Everybody here wants to make a difference. And even though they can render you guys powerless, you're still going to work with the communities. We're going to build it up from the bottom, the community, the grassroots.
Exactly.
All right? You got me, because I'll lay down in front of the door. I will lay down in front of the door. He knows it. Thank you for coming. Stick around for a minute. We're going to take my pleasure. I'm glad that you came. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with the youth of Detroit, the Detroit Better Youth Movement.
All right.
Be right back, everybody, after a short break.
Good segment.
Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33. Welcome back to Mixing It Up. I want to thank the Better Detroit Youth Movement for being a part of my show. This is a continuing segment that will be ongoing for maybe at least the next 6 weeks. We don't know. We're going to have to see. And I just encourage them to start a way where you can all interact with them outside of the show. So if you have problems, you have issues, suggestions, you could go into, maybe they'll start a Facebook page, give you some way to contact them. But I want everyone to know that tomorrow, is it all day? Tomorrow morning from 8:30 a.m. till 2:30 in the afternoon, Denby High School is having what they call a law day. Congressman John Conyers, Hanson Clark are going to be there on tap, and they're going to have apparently activities and speakers and what have you. We encourage you to get involved. And like this young man was saying, the youth is our future. I have been in contact with this organization for the past month or so, and I have to tell you, I have never seen so many good young men and so many good young women that are motivated to succeed. And we are encouraging you to get on board with the youth movement and see what's going on in the city. You know, there's a lot of negativity, but there's also a lot of kids on their way up. And we want you to know that. This city is not worth trashing, Governor Snyder, Dictator Governor Snyder. I'm not afraid to say it. This city is worth saving. Our children are the future of the elderly. I'm 60 years old. One day, they're going to be taking care of me in positions in health care, government, and what have you. And we need to have the right young people getting an education, getting clothes, getting good jobs, getting homes, starting families. Detroit lost its supermarkets. We lost neighborhood retail. We need to bring all this back. Meanwhile, I'm encouraging you to continue to watch my show, Mixing It Up with Barry Ross, on Facebook. Mixing It Up with Barry Ross on demand. You can see this show within 5 days. It will be archived. It's also rerun on the station. And I want to thank everybody for coming to the show tonight. And one of the young men was not feeling well a couple of days ago, and we're very lucky and happy that he's feeling better. And God has seen it fit to have him carry on and get involved in this mission. And I want to thank Jay Bivens and Lee Gordon from the Better Detroit Youth Movement for bringing this to you. So we'll see y'all next week. Everybody stay safe and get involved in your community. Everybody have a good week, and I'll see you later. And have a good week. Watch your neighborhood. Get involved. Thank you. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33.
Park.
Nobody knows flowers better than George. Whether it's floral arrangements or something special for that someone special, George knows flowers. We also specialize in hydro products. Stop by and receive 20% off of any floral items or 10% off of any horticulture items. We have locations in Clinton Township and Northwest Detroit. Call 586-285-9800. That's 586-285-9800. For